Hello, this is a quick tutorial to help you out with this Traktor Pro 3 DJ sync that I made. It's a very specific plugin, so if you're a DJ or you're working with a DJ and you want to get the BPM and a nice hertz output, as well as like a tap tempo beat click type of thing, this is what you want to do. So go ahead, sign up, click download and put it into Isadora, and it will give you this. You actually need to place it, where is it? In here. So you want to put it in the user actors folder. Okay, so drag it in there. If you drag it straight into Isadora, it will probably ask you where you want to put it. Now you'll see that mine's already working, but we're actually going to go back to basics and show you how to set this up. So first of all, this is Traktor Pro 3, and you have to set something up in here. The first thing is you have to enable this, which is done inside the software, but the main thing is what you have to do in here. I'll talk about external sync in a second, but it's basically turning that on, which gives you this. See that? Enable gives you this stop and start and sync. But what we need to do is send MIDI out of Traktor into Isadora. So you won't see a lot of this, but you have to make sure that you're on generic MIDI. It's going out, so you have to give it an output. So I've got Traktor DJ selected there. Now I've got a few other things going on, but this is the important one, the clock send. To add that, you can just go to add in and let me remember where this is, master clock send. So when you create it, it will say what MIDI channel, etc. Now I've set mine here to channel 1, controller 7, and you'll need to do the same. And to do that, you just go here, channel 1, CC 7, and it looks exactly the same. Okay, and you need to go ahead and set things like position, mixer effects, dry, wet, and full on the effects unit, and match them up. So position, I've got channel 10, controller 14, and so on. You can change these. So for example, the effects, dry and wet, which is these dials up here, I've got them on channel 2. But you can modify these, you can change them, but basically make sure that it all matches up. But this clock send is the important one. You can't change much else, to be honest, and you don't need to change the range, but that's what you want. And then when you're in Isadora, this should match up. I've just turned mine off, so I need to turn on external sync on, and I'm going to press play. Now I've set the BPM here at 125, and in Isadora, you'll see here it's giving me a readout of as close as possible to 125. You do need to make sure that in communications MIDI setup that port 1 is looking for Traktor DJ and no other MIDI ports. And let me just explain what's going on here. This is actually the important bit highlighted there. So this real-time watcher is a standard actor in Isadora, and you can see that it's going absolutely ballistic. It looks like that cross, the trigger, is staying on constantly, when actually it's not. If you were to connect this to a tap tempo, it will give you a BPM that's just absolutely off the chart. Now for some reason that I've not bothered to look into, I did a bit of guessing and realised that I need to divide this because MIDI time code is very accurate, and I realised I didn't need that level of accuracy. So I started dividing the trigger. So every trigger that comes in, I divided it. 16 didn't quite work. Obviously 8 wouldn't work. 20 didn't work. I was picking kind of musical bars and phrase numbers here to see if that would work. And eventually 24 gave me the BPM that I knew my DJ software was giving me. There's probably a very good reason why it's 24, probably to do with binary, hex, decimal, coding stuff, I don't know. Some of you cleverer people will know. But the key number was 24. And then I just did some basic user outputs and got the tap. And this is looking for all the other things. I said channel 2 was my dry and wet for the effects mixers. But I think what most of you will be interested in is this. So it's not the easiest to set up, but hopefully that gives you an insight as to what's really going on. Why this is useful is things like wave generators, and you've got shapes. Let's just create a shape and knock up something really, really simple. I need a projector so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll just force stage output. So if I've got a shape and I want to move it up and down to like the beat of the music, right now on a wave like this, it'll go like that at 1 hertz, but this hertz will be a bit more in time with the music. Of course, you're not going to hear anything, so I've not even got a track playing, but that will be in time with the music. And what's really nice is if I just move these screens like so, if I do just play a track very quickly, I'll put it on a loop. I'll just loop it on a 32 bar loop. You won't actually hear it, but as I change this and I'm going to sync the track to that tempo. If I change this BPM to something like 138 and hit enter, you'll see that this number here will change very, very quickly. So 3, 2, 1, and within a couple of counts, a couple of clicks, it starts to change. And just to, let's go really slow. Let's say the track drops down to 90 BPM. This will drop very, very quickly, usually within these 4 bars. So there you go, 89, 90. So you can stay in sync basically, and you can change this on the fly. So as I start to increase this slowly, it will start to increase here as well. So 90.6, you can see it will start to get that very, very closely. Another nice thing is you can resync it. So if you're into music, everything works in kind of the power of 4 and 32s and 16, etc. Well, you can kind of tap this a few times and get it on that first hit, and then things will start to be in sync. You can't hear the music, and it's not the best example of showing you how to use this, but it's one of those things where if you know what you're trying to achieve, you'll be able to follow this along. Maybe this sawtooth is a little bit better showing you how it works to the power of 4 here. But there you go. It might be useful to some of you, to others you'll never use it, but that's how I set it up. Any questions, drop me a message, you know where I am.